Morning. Saturday, hopefully our last day working on the bus. We're hoping to get a road test about lunchtime today. We're going to go pick up the tires this morning, pick up our belts, and those are the last two items remaining that we've got to buy and get on the bus. So yesterday, Phil got all the wiring fixed, so all the lights are working. The only thing we couldn't do was run it to make sure that it's charging. He said it was charging before, so hopefully that's all good. We got that MCI hub all buttoned up yesterday, ready for a wheel. So there it is there. I'm very happy and pleased that we were able to get that converted without too many major issues. The biggest issue was getting the old wiper off. It was stuck. I had to heat it pretty good, as you can see the torches in the background there. I got to put my dashboard back in. Doesn't look like Phil did that. It's just sitting there. And throw a couple turn signals on. Not the front bumper, and I think we're good for a road test. So as long as the road test goes good, then we should be on our way and out of here today. Sage got that one side window in yesterday. Oh, the back window, that's the other thing we got to get done this morning. We got to get that back window popped in. So we're just going to put a single pane in there for now, because that's what we have as a gasket that'll work with a single pane, and hopefully we'll be on the road. Okay, so we're changing the air drain valves in all four tanks. I've got the ones at the front of the bus done already, and I'm working here at the back of the bus. There's two underneath this cover back here. These are the primary tanks for the rear brakes. And pull this cover down, and to discover some crafty bugger has replaced the drain valve with a plug. So I'm surprised when I pulled that plug out that the tank wasn't completely full of water. Only a few drops came out. So this is important, guys. If you can't drain your tanks, replace your valves. If your system fills up with water, it's going to do a number of things. It's going to corrode and damage everything in the system, your relay valve, your brake chambers, the whole 9 yards. And what's even worse, though, is the more water you have in the system, it reduces your air capacity. So if you get into an emergency situation where you blow a brake line or an air hose, if your tanks are half full of water, you've only got half the air pressure that you might need to stop. So make sure your drains are working, and drain them daily if you don't have a dryer. And even if you don't have a dryer, put pull chains on them. That's what we're doing. So these are a valve that you can pull sideways. So you just put a little pull chain on it, and then you can reach underneath the bus and just grab them easily. You don't have to crawl underneath every time you do your pre-flight check. So change your valves.
All right, we're at the tire shop. Jason's the only one who's physically able to get these things in. We're actually loading them into one of Stan's new buses.
2019.
It's a 2019 bus. So, most people would just use a pickup truck, but that's how they do it at the...
Gotta use what's available to you.
Yeah, no kidding. So he just got a killer deal on 6 tires compared to what I've paid for. It's amazing when you own over 100 buses, the kind of pricing you get from the manufacturers. So anyway, we got 6 new tires. We get these babies on. We have just underneath there's a latch or something you have to pull. Anyway, new tires, and we'll get them on and we'll get going.
So here we are on the bus. Home, James.
Your new bus.
On our way back from getting our tires. Riding in style with Stan here. Stan's been kind enough to run us down to the tire shop and pick up these 150-pound tires and load them in this brand new wonderful bus he's got on fleet. It's quite the bus. I think we'll cruise home in this one.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So today is Sunday. It's been a week since we started this adventure, including travel time. There's a number of things we got finished yesterday that unfortunately I didn't get any video of. We got all the tires put on the bus. That was pretty exhausting. That was quite the adventure. We got the back window put in, and unfortunately we managed to crack the window putting it in. So a little disappointed about that. I'm going to have to get some new windows cut anyway. So we'll have to get that done and get that in the bus. We had another problem. We went to pull the bus out of the barn, and sure enough, the stop lamp switch blew the diaphragm. So we had to find another one. And fortunately, the Busboys had a number of different styles. We found one that was an easy fit, installed it this morning, and now we're ready for the road test.
So here I am, bus old man Phil, on a Sunday morning, and here we are at Richfield Bus Company, and Jason thinks his bus is ready for the journey home.
Well, except we got no starter again. It's that stupid solenoid sticking again, I bet you.
Either that or that, yeah. Okay, well, anyway, it's Sunday, and we think it's September 20th, and we're going to get a little bit of air pressure up and make sure everything's running, and we're going to take it for a test drive. Jason will be driving. And here we go on the big silver sides. And we're going to just drive around the neighborhood and see how many things we can find haywire. See, ooh, that really bumps. I may have to stand because I'm gonna get people sick here with this camera bouncing. What was that?
Sage's parts.
I'm gonna find a place I can fit either. Every time I get out of this seat, they fill it up with stuff. Now I have to
It doesn't feel like I have full throttle.
I'll just drive it for a little bit.
Oh, those brakes are nice and touchy.
Oh, you did get the rear one set up?
Oh yeah,
Good.
maybe a little too tight.
No, they'll loosen. Oh, that clutch is nice.
Doesn't feel like I'm getting full throttle.
That could be.
Yeah, that's not full throttle.
Okay, let's go back to the shop and see if we can adjust the linkage.
What's the easiest way to get back? Just turn right around the block?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll never get up to highway speed like this.
Yeah. Okay, you make 3 right turns and 1 left.
Try out your turn signal. Hey, you're working.
Oh, I didn't turn far enough soon enough.
Turned on your left turn signal and went right.
You'll notice, folks, that Jason does have the shift sequence, the double clutching pretty good. Look at that, no gear grinding.
Good. Right turn signal, right turn.
Okay, shift up. Let's get going. I want to see see if it's working right.
Really stiff, but it went.
It might loosen up with use. Does the speedometer work?
No.
Not surprising.
Busboys, right.
What was all that?
Oh, Sage has to stack that stuff better in the back. We can't drive like this.
Sounded like all the silver sidings slid off.
I lost track of where I am. I go right again.
Next block. Remember, you crossed the railroad tracks.
Right.
What did you say all that is? Sage's truck, all that rattling? Turn left.
My door handle. My window handle.
Window handle just fell off.
I guess Stan put it on there without a set screw.
Right turn signal and went left.
I marked them there. See how I
see,
marked
yeah,
them?
left,
They're
left.
the opposite as what makes sense.
They're the opposite to his bus.
That's merely a wiring change. You can just change two wires. Just switch the left and the right on the terminal panel. Okay, we're back to the shop. The throttle is not running its full range. It's only opening the governor to about half open throttle. So we're going to check the linkages and see where the issue is. Why don't you pull into where we are in the backyard where we were
Oh, I was
working?
thinking Sage could work on washing it
All
while we
right,
play with the
okay,
governor.
all right. We'll get back to you in a bit, people.
So Phil here is adjusting my rack. We weren't getting full throttle, and all the injectors moved. Probably about half a turn. Yeah, so that should make a pretty big difference. Sage is making lots of noise in the background. He's washing the bus while we're doing this. And we're gonna go for another road test, and hopefully this solves our lack of full throttle.
Well, here we go again. We had some problem with the engine. We adjusted the injector racks again, and we also had to readjust the idling. So a tweak here and a tweak there, and pardon the bouncing camera, but we're pulling out of the driveway, and I need to lean against something. You say it is better?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
she wound right out in first gear this time.
All right, good. Well, we'll take a swing around a block or two, and then we'll take it down on the highway if you want to.
Well, we gotta fix that generator before we go on the highway.
You need to readjust your load too, unless you want to listen to that metal bouncing for the next 1,000 miles. can if you want. Nothing yet from the charging system, huh?
So we had a successful test drive. Everything seemed to be working well on the bus, except for the charging system. We went back to the yard, and Phil and I did some diagnostics and quickly figured out that the field wire was intermittent from the generator to the regulator. And we opened up the box, and you could see it was actually burnt right at the bottom of the box where it goes through into the regulator box. So we replaced the wire, and immediately the charging system came up and was working quite well. So we said our goodbyes and away we went. So I want to do a big shout out and a thanks to the Busboys, to Richfield Bus Company, Bus Old Man Phil, and Stan for all of his help getting this bus rolling. Everybody's been a great help, and without their help, I don't think it would have been quite successful as it was. So thank you, everybody.
There we are, guys. We're on the road. So my governor set a little bit low. We top out at 62 mile an hour on the GPS. I'm not really thrilled about that. I'd like to get 65, 68. But it sounds like the engine is not revving as high as it could be. And we're on 12, so I'm going to have a conversation with the governor spring later, because I don't really like being governed very well. But she's nice and smooth. She doesn't rattle too much other than the parts in the back. And seems to drive nice. Temperature's holding, air pressure holds, charging system's charging. Thank you, Phil. And we're on the road finally. It's Sunday. I don't know what time it is. It's probably about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock is my guess. I haven't looked at the clock all day. But she's running good. Temperature gauge reads a little high, like it shows 190 there, but I checked it with the gun and it's about 165 to 170, so we know where we're at, and if it gets too hot, well, we'll know when it's too hot. Oil pressure is good. It's a lot of fun driving this old girl. Pretty neat.
So we drove for about 4 hours into the dark. If you watched Sage's live, you would have seen some good shots of the bus rolling down the highway. It's quite the sight to see. Lots of people checking out the bus and waving on the way by. We did have a small issue which we resolved first thing in the morning, and stay tuned for more information on that.